With the Film by Bike Film Festival, and we are so excited to be here today talking about bike culture, bike fun, and today's interview is with Armando Luna. He is based right here in Portland, Oregon, part of the Portland bike scene. He is a fan of going out to bike events, bike fun, bike culture, all that good stuff. Armando is one of those people that when you go to a bike event, you run into him. It's always great to see him. He's got a big smile on his face and tons of enthusiasm for bike events. So Armando, thanks so much for joining me today. It's great to have you here.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit more about what you love about bikes and bike fun, kind of how you got started going out to bike events.
Well, I originally moved to Portland in 1996 and discovered it was bike friendly at that time, and there were plans for bikeways and just the future with bikes, and so that really excited me. I ended up staying here, and with all the bike events that have happened, and I was able to be involved with, it's something I really enjoy. I'm a bicycle commuter to work, where I used to be, and now I work remotely, so I'm not. But yeah, I just really enjoy doing things on bike. I like the bike community here in Portland and elsewhere. I like to keep track of things that are bikey, not just in Portland, but throughout the United States and some other places. Yeah.
And what are some of your favorite events? Like what are the ones that really stand out to you? Are there events that you these days are going to regularly?
Well, the next big event that would have happened if we weren't in this situation, it would have been the Lads 500, Lads 500 fifth version of it, which is just such a fun event.
Tell us a little bit about the Lads 500.
David Robinson, DBR, pretty much invented it, and there's a traffic circle, sort of a traffic calming circle in this small neighborhood in Portland. And he discovered, I think, or someone discovered, if you ride around that like 100 times, or no, 500 times, that equals a century. But you have to actually around like the very outside of the circle. So he started this thing called the Lads 500, where it's a team race, and you just ride around. And so people just came and brought their bikes and formed teams and rode around the circle 500 times. And it was just basically a big party where you ride in circles.
One of the things I love about bike events is like you described that event really well, but yet you still cannot capture the spirit of the Lads 500. That event is so goofy and so fun. A local filmmaker, Audrey, did a great job of capturing it in a film that we showed at Film by Bike last year. If you search that up on the internet, folks, you'll find that. Lads 500, there's a YouTube video by Audrey, and just it'll give you a glimpse, but being there in person, being at these events in person, that's really where you get to understand the draw of the events, I think. What else is on your fave list for Portland bike events?
Favorite, of course, Pedalpalooza would have happened or would be happening in June. I was getting excited about it this year. I posted one event so far, maybe two. And some people post their events far in advance and they try to reserve the good days, the good times. But also I know there's I don't know what to call it, a procedure? No, not a procedure. Anyway, sometimes you have to look at the calendar to see when the rides are happening to find a good space for your ride. For example, you wouldn't want to have a ride that's very similar to another ride on the same time and date. So you might have to wait for certain rides to be posted before you post your ride. So I was just getting ready to get into that. I had started posting things online to get people amped up for the summer and bike rides and bike fun, and reposting some photos from the past of past bike events. And then all of our social distancing happened, which was a bummer. So, but I'm still looking forward to the summer.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit with Megan Sinnott a couple days ago about Pedalpalooza. This is, folks, if you want to know more about it, look up Pedalpalooza online. No matter where you live, Pedalpalooza is a great inspiration for free, fun bike events. This is a month with 300 plus events all throughout the month of June. Almost no money involved. You do not need to pay to go to these events. You don't need to have a special bike. You probably should have a costume, but other than that, no special attire required. The more wigs, the better. And if you don't know anyone, that's fine. You don't need to worry about going with friends. In fact, sometimes I think Pedalpalooza is better when you show up without friends because you are likely to meet people. And I think it's a really cool opportunity for people of all stripes to come together. And that's usually what happens all June long. So here in Portland, we are rejiggering that event, figuring out, I know it's going to look very different this year, and I know not all the details are put together. This is the first year Film by Bike was going to host an event as well. And we were all excited to announce that shortly. We are partnering with the Street Trust to do the Bike Love Fest. So we'll see what that looks like with the new version of Pedalpalooza for this year. But it should be interesting. So is there a certain style of event you like more? The rides, the educational rides, the fun events, the big gigantic rides? What's kind of your forte, Armando?
Oh, I like them all, and I think it's important to me anyway to try to go to events or rides that I might not normally want to go to. So, for example, last year I tried to go on rides I had never been on before, and just find out what that's like. Because, like you said, the best part of going to some of the Putterpalooza rides is going to meet people. And I've met so many people through social rides, through Putterpalooza rides, or just social rides, through the Thursday night ride here in Portland, through the TNA ride, just all of the Foster Night ride. I mean, all these social rides take place throughout the week, and this is all throughout the year. So it's a good way to keep the bike social scene going. Also, not just in the summer, but also in the rainy months.
And do you host your own events? Or are you more inclined to just participate?
Oh, I like to participate. Only in Pedalpalooza, I'll host a few rides, but I don't want the responsibility of it. I just want to have the fun.
Yeah. What are the rides that you had planned to host?
Well, it started with last year with Phil Ross. We had hosted the Breakfast on the Bluffs, which was not technically a ride, but it was more like a gathering of. It's the first day of Pedalpalooza, and it's sort of it was like a picnic or come get coffee and donuts, and people ended up making breakfast and bringing food and just hanging out. And it was just my intention was get a fun, nice event where everybody can come out, find out about the rides that were coming up. Maybe hand out some of the hard copy of the festival of the Pedalpalooza calendar. And just let people know what these social rides were all about. It's a good place to go to find out, because if somebody has never been on that ride before or been on a Pedalpalooza ride, they might be intimidated or just not really sure how to go about things when they see 300 rides. How do I go to them, or do I have to go to them? Which ones do I go to? Things like that. The year before, with my friend Joan, I co-hosted the Welcome Ride, which was sort of the same thing. Welcome. That's where it sort of started. Welcome to Pedalpalooza. Have you ever been on a Pedalpalooza ride? If not, come to this ride, and we'll talk about what it's like, what you might need, what's good to have with you, things like that. So
that's great. Well, we have a little special feature here. If you can give a little more room above your head on your either moving your screen or crouching down. Okay, we got a little fun here. So let's see if I could get this guy to work. All right, so we are putting on top of your head a crown. I don't know if you can see it on your end, but you'll be able to see it later on. This is the crown because we were talking last summer, Kate Walker and I, and we wanted to crown you the unofficial mayor of Pedalpalooza. We didn't want to go through voting or any of that kind of process because we know everyone would agree. You go to probably more events than anyone else, so we've got a crown sitting on your head right now, and everyone agrees this is a great idea. We got some audience applause right now, which you probably can't hear on your end either, and a bicycle horn, an air horn, because it's party time, and more applause for Armando. So,
I was actually thinking about having a sort of a bike mayor election for this summer.
Yeah.
That would have been really fun.
Yeah, I feel like with all that's happening right now, the more we can add these community building and fun things, I think people need it right now. So I think we should move
Oh, yeah.
forward with that idea. I think it's a great idea. So right now, you are used to spending your days probably multiple times a week, I would imagine, getting out to events and functions in the bike culture. What is that like for you right now, not being able to go out to events?
It's not the top of my mind right now. I actually work here at OHSU, Oregon Health and Science University, so it's a university hospital, and I don't work on the clinical side, but I help support the clinical side. So we've been actually been really busy. We've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes to get people that are coming to OHSU to help out, things of that nature, to make things more seamless for them. So that's mostly been on my mind. So I started working remotely earlier this year, and we just got fully set up to be fully remote right at the beginning of March. So when all this happened, it was like, oh no. And in a way, it's good. In a way, it's not so good. I do miss riding. I do miss my commute. I do miss hanging out at Go by Bike. So there's a lot of things I do miss. I am happy when I see friends post things if they're out and about or they're running errands on their bikes and they post things. That's really nice. Jonathan Moss posted not too long ago a nighttime video of downtown where it's just totally almost all empty.
Yeah, that was a really cool view. I feel like people
Yeah.
didn't talk about that enough. I mean, that was a really powerful sign of
Oh
the
yeah.
times to see that.
Yeah, if you're not used to seeing downtown Portland, even that late, it was like nobody was out, no cars were out.
Except for that motorcycle gang that was
Yeah.
hanging out outside the bar blasting AC/DC.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. That really stood out to me. That was great. I'm really curious to see people who are documenting this important time in history and like how that's playing out in the empty streets. And for cyclists, it's great to be out there cautiously cycling and to have more space out there. It's eerie as well, though. We talked earlier today with Maria from Pocampo Bags out of New York City, and she was saying it's kind of scary because the streets are emptier and it feels
Right.
like there isn't that sense of security of there being a million people around you like there usually is in,
Oh wow.
in New York
Yeah, I
City.
didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, that was an interesting take on it. So for those who are not here locally in Portland, how would you describe the Portland bike scene?
Oh, it's everything. What I like about it is it's everything. There's something for every type of rider or person. I mean, maybe you're just a commuter. Maybe you just ride your bike to work, and that's all you do. I mean, there you are. Or maybe you're into mountain biking, or you're into freak bikes or tall bikes, or you're into the social rides. You're into racing. You're into track lacrosse. I mean, there's just so many different audiences. And for me, it's fun to like try to meet people in each one of those audiences and find out a little bit about what they do. And it's nice when you meet somebody that's one of these long distance riders or somebody that rides up. They ride up around Mount Hood for the weekend and they come back on a 60, 70-mile ride, just like a sort of type of training ride. And it's like that's different because maybe that person doesn't show up to a Thursday night ride, a social ride, but sometimes they do. So it's nice when those audiences sort of cross over.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I always like to see, Thursday night ride is always my favorite example of you think it's a Thursday night, it's going to be the 20-year-olds, but it's not. It's really not. It's a lot of people who are definitely not 20. And I love that about our bike scene. It's super diverse, nice mix of people. Always has been, always has been since the early days. And I think that's so cool. So obviously things are different right now, given the fact that we are in the midst of a pandemic. But other than that, what are you looking forward to this summer as far as being out there on your bike?
Oh, I think I'm looking forward to the nicer weather for sure. We had a big, long, nice stretch of great weather this past winter, and it just more recently got a little bit rainy, but it's sunny right now. So I'm really looking forward to the warmer weather. That would be nice.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that we all need that a dose of sunshine right now, and we're not getting quite quite enough of it. But
Yes.
that'll feel really good. Well, Armando, thank you so much for joining me today. We're so happy to crown you the unofficial mayor of Pedalpalooza. Thanks for all the excitement and vibrancy that you bring to the Portland bike scene and Portland bike culture. I look forward to the day when we can get out there and ride bikes together again. And I really appreciate you spending some time with us this morning.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.